How are you?
Good.
Good. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Are we expecting any other of our student board members?
We don't have others.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and call to order the board meeting for the Greater Albany Public Schools on September 14th, 2020 at, I lost my time, 7:02 p.m. And if you will all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, we will do that first. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Chris, for sharing. And I'm going to try to make sure I can navigate here. Sorry. To board business, and our first topic is our board retreat topics. I'm going to try to increase the size of this for you guys. Michael and I had talked with Melissa, and we came up with some of these topics for our agenda so far. We have board goals that we'd like to set for this next year, superintendent evaluation updates, which I know that Director Ward is working on, but we can talk about that there, and some strategic planning updates. And then some equity. We have our equity session coming up. So we'll have some discussions about next steps after we have that initial work session, and then some discussion about All-Stars, where we are at that point in time, whether or not we need to cancel or move things, or doing some of our academic awards maybe a little bit differently. So how we want to coordinate and organize that. This retreat is scheduled for October 19th. So we just wanted to kind of button up the agenda items soon. So if anybody has any issues with those topics, or if there's something more that you feel like we should try to discuss at that work session or that retreat, we need to get those in as soon as possible. Does anybody have any additional ones they can think of now? No? Are we okay with the ones that are on there? Okay. If anything comes up, if you guys can send those off to Chris, she can get them added for us. But at this point, I think we'll stick with those for our retreat in October. All right. And then our next agenda items are with Superintendent Goff.
Thank you, Board Chair and other board members. So tonight you have a number of documents that are included under superintendent comments. There is the superintendent updates for tonight's meeting, and that gives you an update really through September 9th regarding the work that we've been doing so far. There's also information regarding professional development. So we wanted you to have a look at what our secondary and elementary folks are doing in professional development, and also what our classified staff are engaging in with professional development. We were able to have a much more robust training opportunity for our classified staff this year because of the additional days. And we also thought it was really important for you guys to take a look and see what are the teachers doing with those extra days, how were they used in preparation for our launch with students today. Within the superintendent's update, I welcome any questions. Before I field those, I'd like to just share a few highlights. So one is that we have had some pretty strong success with our forums that we have been conducting both with staff and with parents. We're seeing large numbers of folks participate in those forums, ask great questions. The most recent staff forum, which was last week, was pretty inspiring because staff were asking questions about the applied systems of Canvas and Seesaw, the the learning management systems that they're using, and the questions they were asking reflected the fact that they've been in there really working with the systems and wanting to kind of take it the next step. So that was really promising, and actually part of why today was such an important day for our team to see how all of that worked. As you know, we had some challenges with the technology today in getting our students off to the start that we wanted them to get off to. We found that some of our students had, our high school students, our older high school students, really had very little impact at all because they were able to go through their regular classes. Canvas showed up all right for them. They were able to get in, particularly students who were using technologies that were not the Chromebooks distributed by the district. We discovered this morning, right as the school day began, that students and their parents were unable to get access into our learning management systems and into the Zoom meetings that we had scheduled. Our IT team immediately began working on the issue. This was this particular access point was reviewed last week multiple times, and was also reviewed with intentionality around making sure that all systems were go before the weekend occurred. On Friday afternoon, we discovered some issues with the K-12 learning platform for Albany Online, and in updating information that needed to take place for that with iBoss, which is our filtering software. From what we can understand from iBoss, the company iBoss who installed that fix, it appears that something that they did in the fix somehow broke or corrupted the ability for our Chromebooks then this morning to be able to work functionally within Canvas and Seesaw. So we have been able to get in with iBoss. IT took about 4 hours on the phone with them today to fix the issues at hand. We believe that tomorrow we are looking good for the start tomorrow. What I will say is this: I am so impressed with how the community responded in this situation, which was, of course, kind of one of the worser case scenarios that we could have imagined as the school district, because we've spent so much time and energy and really planning well and training folks well, and we're so excited for our students to be engaged in their classes. And we know we had a bunch of students who were really excited to start school today, and it hit students in different ways. Certainly there were tears across the board, both for staff and for students and for parents and family members, as well as the issues played out. However, the other thing that we found is through our social media connections, our social media sites, the vast majority of people engaging with each other and with us on that site were encouraging each other to approach this with grace and understanding, and recognizing that the district is working really hard, that the teachers especially have been working extremely hard to make this meaningful for our kids, that though we never want these things to happen, these things do happen at times with technology, and it is an opportunity for us to learn organizationally, and also for students to learn how to adapt and adjust in unforeseen circumstances when the technology doesn't work and you've still got to engage with others. So we really appreciated that support from our community. We found our staff to be just fantastic in their response. Teachers whose kids weren't impacted did beautiful lessons that they had planned, and things worked extremely well, and we have had great feedback from parents on that. We also had teachers who had a mix of some kids in their class were able to get in and some kids weren't able to get in, and those teachers made it feel for students and parents, both who were in the classroom and parents who then reached out in different ways to talk to the staff member, that things are going to be okay and that we can go with this flow and we're going to figure it out tomorrow. And then for our staff members, our teachers who had kids who just really struggled to get in, they worked really hard in their communication with their parents to make sure that parents and students understood that no one is being marked absent today, that all the kids will be okay starting tomorrow. And I just was really proud of that. I think who you are in a crisis really shows who you are. And I was really proud of GAPS today. even given the conditions that we found ourselves in collectively. So a shout out to Russ and his team and the work that they have been doing to try and address the issues at hand today. It's why Director Thomas is not here tonight to do a report to the board, because he's continuing to just test and make sure everything works. And then also to Assistant Superintendent Harlan and her team, especially Secondary Director Carrie Tatum, for the work that they have done around communicating with our teachers and supporting our principals during the chaos of the day. So so that was an unexpected moment today. I also wanted to share that within your we spoke a moment ago about your equity work session that's coming up, and within your superintendent's report, you will also read information about trainings that we have about racial equity and diversity that will be coming up in October for our administrative team, and then also for our equity leadership team, which is comprised of staff from across different roles across our system. And I thought it would be helpful for you to know what is coming up for your session. And so Elaine Rector sent today a summary of the work that she'll be doing with all of you and with us as well at the work session. And the explanation reads, talking about race and interrupting racism. Talking about race, although hard, is necessary. Interrupting racism is essential and often challenging to know how to do it. This session will frame how to talk about race and also how to receive messages from others around race. We must be able to have conversations about race if we are ever going to effectively take actions against racism. It is essential to lean into discomfort, to deepen our capacity to recognize and interrupt racist attitudes and actions that occur all around us every day. If we want to be part of the solution, we have to be willing to get uncomfortable. We can't ever hope to heal the wounds that racism has inflicted and continues to inflict if we refuse to talk about it. Those conversations aren't always easy, aren't always pretty, and aren't always comfortable, but they are absolutely urgent and critical. And I want you to know that we began those conversations for this year as an entire staff last week. So I facilitated a short PD focused on racial equity and the issues facing us given the current climate within the country and how that impacts our students, particularly our students of color, and what that may mean within the learning environment for our teachers. And facilitated just a short professional development, helping teachers do some reflection on some of their own biases, implicit biases that they bring to the table. Those are things we can't fight against. I mean, we don't know that they're there. That's why they're implicit. They're kind of hiding. And also thinking about what are kind of the norms and expectations you can put into your virtual classroom to help it feel inclusive and help people be seen and safe. And then what are those interactions with your students to support them? And we had the teachers, and then later in a separate PD, the administrators work through some scenarios that are real scenarios taken from what we have heard either from our parents or circumstances that we have heard within our system, and anonymously, and troubleshoot those scenarios. So we've had very good feedback about that training. We trained 300 employees. I trained 300 employees during the first session last week, and then trained all of the administrators later that day. We'll have 2 more sessions this week, and that will catch every single district employee. So wanted to make sure that you're aware of that. And of course, there are a number of things happening, but one of the most exciting things that I want to make sure that we mark together is that we had 3 successful high school graduations as well. And I was so proud of the students and the staff and everybody who went into planning those graduations, particularly Principal Orsborn from West Albany, who really helped lead the organization of the work. Seeing those students come out of their cars and kind of join together and descend on their seats in front of us when they were getting ready to stand up and come get their diplomas was very, very moving. And I think it was done in the safest way that we could have done that. And I was very pleased that so many students recognized this moment as a moment they still needed to mark, even though it was months later than they had planned initially to mark it. And it was marked in a memorable way with formality and support. And I just was extremely proud of GAPS. And it was great. Those were my first graduations to participate in as your superintendent. So that was a great honor. And that is what I have. Questions?
Oh, yes, Director Ward. Oh, I think you're on mute. That's okay.
There.
There you go.
Thank you for that report, Superintendent Goff. Just a couple of things. I agree with you on the graduations, and I wasn't a graduate, so I'm not in a position to say whether that was better than a traditional graduation or not. I personally really liked the car honking and just thought that was way better than clapping. It was really fun. Also, let's see, I just wanted to add a clarification to your report, just for the sake of the record, which is that the county task force that Chair Butzner and I are serving on is funding extracurricular activities for youth as opposed to straight child care. And then I just wanted to offer, as a parent and a board member, our first day of school experience. Going into it, I mean, this was such a huge lift and just a new experience for everybody that I thought it was unavoidable that we'd get through the day without any hitches. I had a middle schooler starting today, and we were able to transition to a laptop early on, and she was able to connect with all of her classes, and they were just really positive experiences for her. She was excited. I expected her to roll out of bed and be in her pajamas, and she was makeup and hair, and really enjoyed seeing her classmates again. She really connected well with her teachers. She was able to navigate Canvas really well, both for the synchronous learning in the morning and to access her assignments in the afternoon. And, she just came away, it was smiles all day long and positive reports. And it just felt like a great first day of school. So really just thanks to everybody for the extraordinary amount of work that has gone into making this school year possible.
Thank you.
I can say the same. Our experience here was a positive one as well. And I know that was not the case for everyone. But for those that were there, the teachers did a great job of, making sure everyone was online. In our daughter's case, pretty much everyone that was scheduled to be in the class was online and in her classes, and she had a real positive experience. So I think there are, when we get this one glitch, I think, dealt with, you'll have more and more reassurances, I think, for the process that's been developed and put in place, and how it functions and how it worked for them. My daughter even made a comment about feeling like she actually got more accomplished in one class in some cases than she did before, probably because they weren't socializing quite as much, but they still managed to, I think they've gotten used to seeing each other on screens recently too. So I think all the younger kids, of course, Jen and I both have older ones, a little bit older. So it might be a different scenario for the youngers, but I think it'll be a positive one once we get everyone on there. So there were some very positive experiences, I think, as well.
I think I would encourage you to go to the district Facebook page. There are some wonderful shout outs about particular teachers and what happened within the classroom, all grade level too. So that's pretty fun to see. You'll also see in the next couple days, you'll see a video that Principal Heisley shared out for Calapooya that is musical, and he takes a risk and steps out, and I'm so proud of him for modeling this is how you take a risk in a moment where it's really hard, and it's fantastically entertaining. So you'll see that on social media as well, along with many other pieces. I mean, the open houses that folks did with their Bitmojis and little videos. There's a great video from North Albany Elementary School. I mean, a great open house montage that they did, slideshow, which is really fantastic as well. So just, it was a fun day. In between the difficulty, I would go and look at the fun little pieces like that. And it was very inspiring.
Are there any other board member questions? Or I know we didn't look at all the documents, but there are documents attached in board book for the professional development that's been occurring at the different levels. So if you want to take a look at those and have any questions to those at a later time, you can direct those at Superintendent Goff a little bit later.
Thank you.
If nothing else, we will move on to our board reports and our board liaison reports. I'm not sure that we've had much other than maybe Director Eastman with any of the contract negotiation things, or I'm not sure what else we've had people representing us at.
Negotiations have been kind of sidetracked a bit, but I think we'll speak more of that here very soon.
Any other reports from board members? No? How about our student? Esperanza, do you have a report you would like to provide? I know it was just the first day, but.
I have a little
There
bit.
we go. Now we gotcha.
Yeah. Sorry, this confuses me. So about like the first day of school, the students were really thankful for the teachers for being super understanding. And that's something that definitely stood out to a lot of them, where the teachers like trying to connect with them and understanding that things were crashing and computers weren't working and it's all new. And like someone said earlier, everyone's really excited to actually be at school, even though we're not there together. You can tell that people just want to talk, but they can't, but they really want to talk and like see each other again and communicate. And it's really nice to see how like everyone's coming together to try and figure this out and trying to bring the community together again within our school system with what we have right now. And that's all I really have.
Thank you. All right. So that moves us on. I don't believe we have any committee, community, or school presentations, although we leave that on our agenda. And so that brings us to comments from the public, which I understand we also did not have any of today. So that brings us on to our consent agenda, which I'm not going to open all of these, but we had our personnel, our minutes from August 3rd, and then minutes from the board meeting on the 17th. I guess what I would ask right now is if there were any questions or comments or edits needing to be made to the August 3rd. Let's do that one first. Minutes. No updates there from anyone. Okay. And then August 17th. Nothing there. Okay, so our consent agenda items pass. And then we'll go to old business, which we don't have any of either. How did we not have any old business? So on to technology distribution and connectivity. And it sounded like, who is taking this one? Russ, are you taking this one? Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, there couldn't be any old business because we have to meet Director Ward's request to be done in an hour. So that's why you didn't have any old business. I am attempting to do my best to carry Richard Thomas's water this evening. He has had an interesting day and it's turning into an interesting evening. You have information in your packet with regards to technology distribution and connectivity. It was merely as an update for the board. I would let you know that with regards to updating the numbers, To date, we have handed out roughly 6,000 Chromebooks, grades 2 through 12. And K1 orientations began last week and continue through this week. And we anticipate we'll be handing out roughly or up to 1,200 Chromebooks during that time as well. With regards to connectivity, we have an individual in the district who spearheads that for us. We work through families that have connectivity issues to try and find solutions, up into including the fact that we have a limited number of hotspots on hand, and we have been distributing those as they are needed. With that, I will just stand for any questions if someone has any on this topic.
Director Aganaga, I believe, had his hand raised.
So the 1,200 Chromebooks, those aren't the tablets, those are the actual laptops?
They are as you refer to as laptops. They are the same Chromebooks that are being handed out to 12. And then the tablets will show up late this month. So we'll be distributing them, best case scenario, late this month. More likely early next month, we'll be swapping the K1s out. We'll be swapping them tablets for their Chromebooks, but we wanted to get technology in their hands so they could be working at this time.
Sure. Because I thought K1, 2 were just going to do tablets all year. I know that Corvallis is back ordered on Corvallis Public Schools is back ordered on Chromebooks, and so not all of their students will have Chromebooks until October. So I don't know if there's any kind of mutual aid or anything we can do to help. So.
We are with the 7,200 Chromebooks that I mentioned. That is scraping every Chromebook that we've been able to locate in every corner of the district. And best case scenario is we'll be able to provide one to every student. Worst case scenario is we may have some high school students that have to wait. Okay. So unfortunately, we're not in a position to help them. Certainly not until the tablets arrive.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm assuming we won't know much more on the hotspots and availability of the Wi-Fi until we really have everybody kind of connected, but were we okay today with?
Yeah, well, we've had lots of people contacting. I mean, we're working through it. We've been, I mean, there were hotspots that were handed out today. Okay. So we're moving forward on that.
Perfect. Any other questions from directors? We do need to move one agenda item up. L1 under new business, school activity accounts should be moved up under reports. So, and Superintendent Goff, are you taking this one or?
Actually, I will have Director Allen take this. So okay. This item is an informational item only. This is not an item that the board will take action on at this moment tonight. And so Director Allen is able to give you information that will kind of give you context and then inform you what the future planning looks like.
Thank you. Madam Chair, members of the board, earlier this year, staff identified deficits in high school school-wide activity funds, specifically involving athletics and activities. Included in your packet is information regarding these deficits, a plan to remediate the deficits, as well as system improvements that have been or will be soon implemented. This is, as the superintendent mentioned, this is in the form of a report, as no further action is needed at this time. The transfer identified in the report to remediate the deficits would be included in the 21-22 proposed budget and would be acted upon by the budget committee and the school board at that time. I'm ready to answer any other questions that the school board might have at this time.
I don't see any hands at this point. So we will take that information, which we appreciate you providing, and then we will, looks like, be discussing that at a future budget meeting.
Yes.
Great, thank you. And I think we are on to bond business. And do we have anyone joining us for this?
David McKay will be joining us.
David will be. So should we move? Is he here now, or should we go ahead and move?
He should be.
Okay.
He's.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, awesome. All right, Madam Chair, members of the board. We have in your packet, we have the monthly board report that takes us through the end of July. At your next board meeting, you will have the monthly bond report that would take us through the end of August. So we'll soon be caught up, but with the timings of the board meetings, this is the best we've been able to do. So David McKay is here to provide you highlights with regards to the monthly bond report for July. And then both he and I will certainly attempt to answer any questions that you may have. David, I don't see you on my screen, but take it away.
And David, this is Kim. I just had a real quick favor to ask. As you're going through, we're using a board book now. So I'm trying to navigate through. If you can just let me know certain pages that you're doing the highlights from, I will get to those pages so everyone can follow along. If that would help me, that'd be great.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Well, Madam Chair, members of the board, all I can say is, wow, what a summer. Who would have thought, you know, the things that we're facing, and it's just absolutely incredible. I don't know. It just, every day it's just a new challenge, and you just roll up your sleeves and try to solve it to the best of your ability. The month of July, we continued making progress on all of the projects. West, you know, there are these times in a project where you see these dramatic changes. So I'd be on the West page, and there are these dramatic changes that happen. And just to highlight a few of those, many of you have probably driven by the site going down Elm Street. You see that the drive entrance is in, the parking lot's in, the curbing. You know, it's one of those kind of milestones where all of a sudden, wow, what happened? It's, you know, it's kind of exciting to see the change that has occurred. Others is the structural steel is complete on the building. The exterior, the brick is complete. Entry roof construction, there's some pictures. It would be, Kim, on page, just me get there. Page 50 of the board packet. So the glulam beams over that entryway are in, the roof is on, the entry is really taking shape. You're getting, you know, you're being able to really begin to visualize what it's going to be like to enter the building. Finishes continue to make tremendous progress. Work in the kitchen is ongoing. So just lots of work throughout the building. It's just really a fun time to be able to walk through and see the changes.
David, if you could refer from here, from henceforth, could you refer to the page within the HMK packet?
Yes.
Utilizing board book, I don't think we have the access to the overall pages easily.
Okay, so that was page 29 of 89 for the HMK report.
Thank you.
To back up to page 26 of 89, one unfortunate series of events occurred in the month of July is we began to see some uninvited guests, I guess is the best way to describe it. And I think it was pretty consistent at about 2:47 a.m. in the morning. We would have a group of young people that would make it through the fence and then decide that they wanted to spray paint various areas of the building with things that I don't think I should show in pictures. It happened twice. I would say this, Girding was responsive both times. The second time we decided that the security cameras that were put up was not sufficient as a hindrance to stopping it. And so a security company was hired. And so we have, during the week, as soon as construction's over, about 5 o'clock, we have a security guard until 7 in the morning. And then weekends, it's 24 hours a day. And now we're not seeing the problems that we were seeing with people wandering onto the project and doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So Girding was great to work with. It's unfortunate it ever had to happen, but we were able to stop it. And that will continue until we can lock the building. So we're still waiting for the windows to begin to be installed in the doors. So what we have is what we consider a porous exterior. In other words, it would be very easy for people to gain entrance. And so the security company is creating that hindrance for people from doing that any longer. Meadow Ridge and Oak Grove, we continue to work on the closeout. In fact, I believe we've received all the closeout documentation for Meadow Ridge. Oak Grove, we're continuing to finish that right-of-way work at I think it's Oak Drive. And I'm not referencing a page, Kim, so I haven't forgotten. This is just more talking about the overall state of the project. Liberty, it would be really hard for me to take you to all of the Liberty projects because there's 7 or 6 prime contracts, but that continues to be a tremendous focus of our attention. In many ways, you could say that we're acting like the general contractor, so we're having to coordinate all of those prime contracts. The contractors are all playing nice together and working hard. And you know, an awful lot of work going on there. Just as a point of reference, I looked at the total contracts for Liberty Elementary. It's about $3.6 million worth of work occurring there this summer. So significant. Meadow Ridge, or excuse me, Memorial and NAMS, we're scheduling the 1-year warranty walkthrough. So that's another big milestone for our project, because once that's completed and whatever warranty items are corrected, then those projects are done. And so a month of good progress in the midst of the challenges that we faced. Any questions for me?
Director Aganaga.
So have to tell you, you know, we're really thinking of you with your company up in Mill City. That's a lot to deal with. And I know it didn't get damaged by fire, but a lot of your people work and live up there. So we're thinking of you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And then I had a question about the bus gates at South.
Yes.
I think a Labrador could walk underneath them. They're pretty high up.
Yes. We have been working on rectifying that. And I need to, we had some work done. I believe it was in the month of July. There's some additional corrective work that needs to be done still. I can follow up with an update on where we're at, but basically what we're doing is speed bumps, in essence, across those areas and to stop the Labradors from going under the fence.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
You bet.
That's due to the curbs, correct? There's curbs
Yes.
there starting on, yeah.
And then sloped property, it was just very, very difficult. Oh, I would like to point out to you, page 23 of the report of, you'll see a picture of Nestor Narvez. He's a recipient of a scholarship through the foundation. We call it Pathways to Construction Engineering Management. With that is an internship. And he's really enjoying, you know, seeing this side of construction. He never understood what construction engineering management was. And he's actually enjoying it. One of the things we were able to do for him is to bring one of the instructors in from Oregon State University to talk to him about the program. And so it's been fun having him. And we hope that he is able to continue his internship through the school year. He wants to take a 2-week breather to see what the start of school is and the class structure, but it's pretty exciting to see him get excited about construction management.
That's awesome. Thank you. Any other questions for David from the directors? I'm not seeing any. We're good to move on. You're off the hook, David.
No, he's not.
Oh,
Thank you.
no.
Thank you, Kim. You're my favorite.
I'm sorry. We do have a change order. I shouldn't have said off the hook for that one for questions. Now we have
Yes, ma'am.
change order to look at. Yes.
So David, go ahead and take it away on the change order request.
Okay, great. So we have a change order, the recommendation for the board to take action is for West Albany High School, change order 13. One of the things you'll notice that we did is we tried to provide you a little bit of background on a number of the major ones that are included in that packet. This change order is a significant one. It's for $365,468.79. We are recommending acceptance of this, and I'd open it up to any questions you might have.
David, does this change? The end of month report was through the end of July. Does this change order change or alter the HMK projection for where that project will end up?
No,
Okay,
this
thank you.
is within the contingency for the project.
And I think I'm seeing that there is remaining contingency of about 680,000. That's after we were to approve this.
Yes.
And we think that's sufficient for the remainder.
Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, these are all things that absolutely had to be done. Yeah, these are all necessary to build the building.
Can you remind me what the percentage of completion is for that project at this point overall?
I believe we're just over 60%. I can confirm that, and it was I will confirm that, but I believe we're over 60%.
And what was our contingency? What did the contingency start at? Dollar amount?
1.6 million. So we're about we have about a third remaining.
Okay. Okay. Director Eastman.
David, in PCO 067, at what point does an omission in drawings become the responsibility of the school district?
Well, that's a great question that we all struggle with on a continual basis. It's not an easy question, Pat, and you are really good at asking me the very, very difficult questions. I think what you have to do is we have to look at the overall errors and omissions as a percentage of the project. And as much as we never want to have any, we need to recognize that they do occur because architecture is, and engineering is not, it's never perfect, unfortunately. We like to see those below 2 to 3%. That's why we have a 5% contingency. Right now, the last I looked at that report, we are beneath that. I can give you an update at the next on where we are, but I believe we're below that. When you start exceeding that is when you need to start having a discussion about whether or not you're going to pursue some type of claim against the architects and engineers. Typically, I see that when we are within that, you don't pursue those types of claims. I will say this, that one of the things that DLR, to their credit, just recently have done is they took credit for the mistake in the tennis lights. Seldom do I ever see an architecture firm offer on their own volition to pay for something, and they have done that, which is I applaud on their behalf. So I don't know if I've answered your question. There isn't a clear line that you could say that you need to start pursuing it with architects and engineers, and that's why we have contingency.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions from directors? So this one, they're looking for action tonight, and I was actually just trying to locate in board book the action requirement. Should be showing now for those of you following. So I will entertain a motion if there are no more questions. Director Aganaga.
I make a motion to approve the change order 013 to Girding Builders in the amount of 365,468.79.
So the motion on the table is to approve change order 013 to Girding Builders in the amount of $365,468.79. And I don't think I'm going to do the voting option. It doesn't look like it's on there, so we will go around. First, we'll say Director Ward.
Aye.
And Vice Chair Thompson.
Aye.
Director Aganaga.
Aye.
And Director Eastman.
Aye.
I also vote aye, so that will pass with unanimous consent. And that brings us to new business. And we have the budget committee calendar.
Thank you. I will continue. Madam Chair, members of the board, you have a proposed draft budget committee calendar for the preparation of the 2021-2022 budget. This is formulated simply off of the way in which the district has approached the budget committee in the past, where we've had a budget committee meeting planned for the fall, a goal setting, a big picture type of budget committee meeting in order to provide input to the superintendent, who's ultimately responsible for putting together the proposed budget. We have historically scheduled the opportunity for up to 3 budget committee meetings in the spring, followed by the board having 2 meetings with which to have a budget hearing and then later to adopt the budget. Even if this was accepted, this does not preclude the budget committee and or the board to establish additional meetings if they felt necessary. It is new business this evening. I'll certainly, if there's any input or thoughts or questions, I'll certainly take that at this time.
Does not look like there
Okay.
are.
Well, we will bring it back as old business next month then.
Sounds good. Thank you. And then we were on to the MOUs.
Yes, Chair Butzner and members of the board. We are very fortunate in the Greater Albany Public School District to have a long-standing collaborative relationship with our employee associations, both our Teachers Association, GAEA, and our Classified Association, GAACE. We've been working with members in the leadership of both associations for about the last 5 or 6 weeks on trying to put together some agreements that would allow us to continue at least through the comprehensive distance learning phase of this environment that we're in currently. And we've been fortunate to be able to work out these memoranda of understanding with each association. And so we come to the board tonight asking the board to not only consider those, but to consider giving their approval to these.
So we'll start with GAACE Memorandum of Understanding. And are there any concerns or questions on that one from board directors? And Director Larry, I just want to make sure, are we wanting to approve these this evening or bring them? These were ones we wanted to, okay.
We would like to get these approved, yes.
So I'm not seeing the action for a motion on here, but we will need to take a motion and we'll do them separately for each one. So are there any questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve this first one. Oh, is Director Eastman? I think I see you talking, but you're on mute.
There you go.
Thank you.
Sorry, I have a split screen, and if you're highlighted one screen and you hit the space bar for the other screen, it doesn't. That's what you want it to do. So, as always, the computer is much smarter than I am. So I would like to make a motion that we accept the memorandum of understanding for the GAACE. And do you want to do these separately, Randy?
Yeah.
Okay, that we accept the memorandum of understanding between the district and the GAACE as submitted by Mr. Larry.
Okay, so motion on the table is to approve the memorandum of understanding for GAACE as presented by Director Larry. Director Eastman.
Aye.
Director Ward.
Aye.
Vice Chair Thompson.
Aye.
And Director Aganaga.
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so those that one is approved. And then moving on to the memorandum of understanding for GAEA. Are there any questions, comments, additions there? Okay, we'll also entertain a motion for this one. Director Eastman.
Chair Butzner, I would make a motion that we accept the GAEA memorandum of understanding as presented.
Okay, thank you. So the motion is to approve the memorandum of understanding for GAEA as presented by Director Larry. Director Eastman.
Aye.
Director Ward.
Aye.
Vice Chair Thompson.
Aye.
And Director Aganaga.
Aye.
I also vote aye, so that one is approved as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And I want you to know you're in no particular order other than how you show up on my screen. So go through. Director Aganaga, you're always last, but your last name is an A. So it's just where you are.
It's nice to take it last once in a while. Yeah.
You're right. Okay, so that concludes our new business. We have one item that will come back next meeting for old business. And we have nothing listed under other business or information only items. And I apologize, I don't, yes, Director Ward.
I'm sorry. I know that in speaking, I run the risk of taking us over the hour-long meeting that I requested, but I need to correct myself from earlier because it's important. So so we are in the second round of funding for the Lynn County grants that I mentioned earlier on the workforce that you and I are working on, Kim. And the first round really did emphasize extracurricular activities, but in this second round, there is the opportunity for community organizations to apply for grants to operate emergency licensed childcare programs. I'm just going to read the official word from the county so I get it right. Grant funds will be made available to assist in supporting programs that are licensed with the Oregon Early Learning Division as emergency licensed childcare or recorded programs that have received an authorization to operate as emergency licensed childcare. And I just wanted to make sure that I stated that correctly. One, because we recognize that this is a very real need for our community under the present circumstances, and also because the application for these deadlines is tomorrow, and you can get the application information from the Lynn County website. So just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And unfortunately, I normally mention the upcoming meetings, but in board book, I'm not seeing that they are listed there. So maybe we can add that next time just as so we have that reminder, but you all have your calendars and we have our agenda from last time for the upcoming meetings. The biggest one probably to remember is that we do have our work session regarding equity coming up here very soon. So we'll all be attending that. And if there's no other business, then we still managed to do it. I will adjourn our meeting at 7:56 p.m. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Bye.